I am so glad you are here. I'm Liz. It is Wednesday, January 21st, 2026, and it's time for It Is Alive. And what's alive, I hear you asking? Why, Magus Books and Herbs in Minneapolis and online at magusbooks.com. Let's get into our day. What's been going on? Well, let's start with what are we drinking, shall we? What are we drinking today? I've got a little ashwagandha, a little lemon balm, and a little burdock in here. Had some eczema on my fingertips. It's been cleared up perfectly. It's beautiful tea. Not to mention all the wonderful properties that ashwagandha and lemon balm have. What am I wearing? Well, let's start with this beauty. On this screen, to me, this looks like it's orange. It's actually peach. It's a super peachy peach, I promise. It's a nice heavy scarf for something that looks as lightweight as it does. And I like that about it. And the ends have this wonderful complementary paisley fabric that I think is adorable. So that's what I'm wearing today for the scarf. For the jewelry, oh yes, besides my lovely engagement and both wedding rings, I have a clear quartz from Tracy's Treasures. This, believe it or not, is a cut sapphire. This is clearly not like jewelry store grade sapphire, but it's a gorgeous sapphire and it will still have all of the properties that sapphire would carry. This one is a beautiful little malachite, tiny, delicate little thing. And then I've got a little silver lotus on, all from Tracy's Treasures. Beautiful pieces. That's what I'm wearing. That's what I'm drinking. I'm so glad you guys are here today. Ooh, let me put comments on. There we go. Now, for most of you, you can comment and I'll see it, but for some of you, I can't. There's some that just don't pass through to the platform I'm on because we are simulcasting to 5 different platforms when I do these lives, except on Thursdays and Fridays because those are pre-recorded, those are canned, and Instagram won't let us do that. So I'm sorry, Instagram folks, you don't get to see Stoned on Friday and Divine Saturday unless you move over to Facebook or Kick or YouTube or any of the other platforms. Oh, they're up here. Yeah, Facebook, YouTube, Kick, and I don't know what the purple icon stands for. I got to be honest, I don't remember. I'm just glad we're in all those places. What's coming up today, this week and next? Saturday, and I will promise you I will repeat this several times during this live cast. Saturday, January 24th, we're having our book sale. We do this once or twice a year where we open up the basement. So you get to see a little bit of what it's like behind the scenes at Magus Books. And you get to see the books that we feature on Amazon and on abe.com in person. You can touch them, you can see what it's really like, and make a decision about whether you wanted that collectible book or not, whether it's $20 or $2,000. And that is the price range, by the way. Really depends. How do we price our used books? Well, when the used books come in, we run a price check on them to see what they're going for on the platforms we use. And then we undercut everybody for the quality of the book that we've got. And there's like over half a dozen qualities of books. If you're just getting something that you want to be able to read, then good or fair will do. But if you're looking for a collectible, you probably want to see fine or as new or brand new. Just to give you a heads up. But Saturday is the day to come and check out what we've got behind the scenes. I have not even going to be able to bring out the Amazon books. There's just nowhere to show them to you guys, but I will bring out all the decks that we list on both of those sites. And ABE is where we list the vast majority of the books that we sell online that are not on our own platform. So let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know, 10 or more bookcases down there. Some of them are double stacked. I've got to be honest, like the books that will eventually work their way up here as we have room for them as used books, those bookcases are double stacked. There's a lot of books down there. A lot of fun stuff. Whether you're looking for something on Buddhism, Wicca, witchcraft, paganism, Norse, Celtic, ceremonial magic, almost anything else you can think of. There's always a few books on Christianity in those collections because we will take whole estates at times. And, you know, somebody for a little while was going to have been into some televangelist somewhere. Our attitude is it's all religion, and we're about freedom of religion. So you should get to explore any and all religious paths that you might want to read up on. If you want to go further, that's great. There's supplies. We offer many of those items and lots of groups. Right now, there are 3 different groups that meet here. at least for some level of their training. We'll get to that in the schedule in just a second. So yeah, come and explore, find out what religious freedom really means by shopping at a place like Megas Books. So what is happening? So Saturday, the book sale, yes. But also Saturday at 12, Alliance Coven is doing their second level of training here, which means it's not really a class that's open to the public this time, but it is one where if you're here at 12 or if you're here at 2 as they're finishing up, you can meet those people. You can see how cool they are or not cool they are for you and make decisions about maybe attending their open group when it recurs here later on in 2026. Very excited for that group. They really are an amazing trio of teachers. At 3, we'll have ethics in the class. And I have to apologize. Liz and I know I'm Liz, but we have another Liz. Liz and I did not get this one up in our system very quickly. So it's up now. You can pre-register now. Ethics in the class is a by donation class. We're going to cover where those ethics come from, how they get exercised. What are the ethics? Have we coalesced in the pagan witchy world around any particular ethics? Is the rule of 3 still relevant for people? What about and it harm none? And where does that come from? And who was the first person to say some of this stuff? We've got a really fascinating book on the subject. And if you are signed up for the class, when you come for the class that day, we'll give you 10% off the book, Ethics and the Craft by Coughlin. It's it's actually a really smart read. It's well-researched. He did a great job, I gotta say. So that's this Saturday. That's a lot for Saturday, isn't it? I'll be here on Saturday. It's just gonna be a very long week. I'll be here every day this week. Taking next Monday off, so there might not be a Monday meditation unless I can it tomorrow. So on Sunday, we have the Reiki Share. Come on in, get your Reiki Share on. If you've got a Reiki first, second, or third, you are eligible to participate. It's completely free. We just trade Reiki and we talk about what it's like to do Reiki. If you're having questions about it, this is a good place to just come in and sort of check out what's going on. At 10 o'clock before we open on Sunday will be the Gardnerian 101 class. Having a blast with that one. That is loads of fun. It meets from 10 to a very strict 11, so I can do the 11:15 live on Sunday, which I'll get to in a second. And at 4 o'clock, Eshu is teaching his palmistry class, which is a wonderful, wonderful class. I highly recommend it. I did one off the cuff subbing for him recently, and I did okay, but he's going to do a better job because he's got it organized. Oh, he's brilliant. On the following Saturday, the 31st, the very last day of January, 3 o'clock, we'll have astrology. And the following Sunday on February 1st, we will have Gateway to the Gods at 12. Do sign up in advance for that one if you're interested. Not a by donation class, partly just because we have to prepare a remedy. So we have to prepare the samples. So we have to know who's coming for that one. At 3 o'clock, there is a brilliant class on theurgy happening on that February 1st. And on Saturday, the 7th, the following weekend, again, Alliance Coven will be back at noon. That's a noon to 2 class. And you're welcome to come and meet them about 12 or at about 2. 2 is probably the best time, to be honest. And at 3 on 7th of February, that Saturday, the American Hoodoo class will be happening. And that's another Eshu class. So we've got, Adam's astrology class. We've got Eshu teaching a few classes. We've got Ravenwolf teaching a few classes. All really interesting and good classes. Sunday the 8th, Gardnerian 101 again at 10 before we open. And at 3:30, the Tarot Lab. Let's see. Yeah, that's as far as I wrote down the schedule for everybody so I could just let everybody know what's happening. For our live cast, if you're catching this one, no, this is the long one, and it's every Wednesday from 11:15 until 11:50, 11:55, somewhere in there. But we do short ones, 5-minuters, every other day of the week. So I'm here on Sundays normally, so we do an energy Sunday. I might talk about Reiki, I might talk about raising energy. Lately, I've been talking about things like postures you can hold that let you feel more empowered, and other things that might help you on the fly. Maybe you're attending a protest somewhere and you want to feel like you can handle things. We've been talking about things that can help with that. On Mondays, we have a meditation for 5 minutes. And this whole week's kind of been focused on peace and love and compassion and opening people's hearts so they can use their hearts as well as their minds to make good decisions. Wednesdays, of course, here we are. It is alive. Thursday is always about herbs. I might cover the magic of an herb. I might cover the medicine of an herb. I might cover both. I might show you something you can do with an herb, but Thursdays, always herbs. And of course, how could I resist stoned on Fridays for crystals? We're always doing something with stones then. And on Saturday, it's about divination. I did a tarot series not too long ago, connecting numerology with tarot and how it can help you interpret those cards and memorize their meanings just a little bit faster. And now I'm doing a little bit on palmistry. Behind me, actually, let's see, that one that's right over my shoulder right now, that's like a large, very long paper I wrote on palmistry at one point. And I'm just kind of going through it and talking about individual lines. We've covered mounts and we've covered fingers and all kinds of fun stuff in that series. And we just keep going. And it's fun. Usually I have an interview here. I don't today. I don't always. So it's just going to be us today. So send your comments over. And if you're not on a platform where you're seeing me respond to your comment, means you're on a platform that the system we use to simulcast isn't showing me the comments from. Just flip over to find us on YouTube or Facebook or some other platform. Instagram is another one we're on, so that you can find a spot that will let me see your comments. And I would love that. That would be fantastic. So that's what's going on. Let me also remind you that we have these lovely readers. And right now we've got, for today, Eshu will be in all day, noon to 6. We're open noon to 6, 360 days a year. He is here on Wednesdays the whole time. Thursday, he's here from noon to 3. He's here for the first half, and then Heather comes in for the second half. She's a beautiful young reader, lots of intuitive talent. She is a delight, honestly. Fridays, Ravenwolf will be in from 1 to 4, and then he's followed from 4 to 6 by Probably Daryl. We used to say Daryl. We're adopting Probably Daryl more. I just enjoy it, and it seems he does too. Saturday, Eshu is here again for the first half of the day from noon to 3, followed by the amazing Margaret from 3 to 6. All of those people do tarot, with the exception of Probably Daryl, who does his own oracle deck, which, wow, check out that deck. It's worth chatting with him when he's here doing readings, even if you don't get a reading, just to see that incredibly cool deck he designed. It's hexagonal. It's amazing. And Eshu, in addition to tarot, does palmistry as well. Sunday, Eshu's here all day from noon to 6. Probably Daryl is in for the first couple of hours from noon to 2. And then Morpheus, who does dream interpretation, is here for the rest of the day from 2 to 6. Tuesdays, Ravenwolf from noon to 3. And Probably Daryl from 3 to 6. And that brings us back to today, when we'll have Eshu all day, which is always delightful. He is holding space on Sundays for Tracy. We're still hoping she will heal enough that she's able to come back and do readings again. And I kind of like that it's still widow corner, because Eshu and I both have lost partners to death, to untimely deaths, just as Tracy has. So it's kind of fun in a way, in a macabre way. But that's who to get a reading from. That's what's happening. What are we wearing and what are we drinking? So let's see what else is going on. Well, there's a publisher we order from every single week, and I do it on Sundays. When I get her on Sunday, because that is my version of Monday, I pull a list of what we're out of from that publisher, and I check it to make sure they're not out of the books, so we're not ordering something they can't fulfill. And I put that order in with them. And it often arrives either late on Wednesdays, too late for this, or it arrives on Thursdays. And it did it again. But I had a lot of new releases in last week's order, so I thought I'd show you guys. Some of them have already been bought and replaced, believe it or not. So I have Wisdom from the Woods is a beautiful new release. I think this one is going to be worth picking up if you're looking for something that gives you just a little bit of structure, because there's 52 things to do to help you connect with nature in here, whether you go through them one at a time and do one a week, which is what's suggested by the 52, or whether you just... I have time today. I'm going to randomly flip through, and that one. They're in here for you, and I think it's gorgeous. It's a fun little book. This is one kind of near and dear to my heart because I visited Pennsylvania several times, certainly driven through it, coming out here to the Midwest as a kid. Saw the Liberty Bell. It's a required trip if you're in Jersey or anywhere near Pennsylvania. And this one is about heathen traditions of the Pennsylvania Dutch. So for anybody who doesn't know, the Pennsylvania Dutch are of German descent. I know Dutch, you would think, no, it's German. And they have definitely kept a lot of their own folk traditions alive over the generations. And this is a nice collection. This is not someone I've spoken to personally. These authors are not people I've spoken to personally about these traditions, but I've absolutely spoken to people from those communities who have left those communities as adults about the things they do and the practices they have. And it's a fascinating little pocket of preserved and expanded upon traditions from part of Europe. We also have the Witch's Runes. Maybe you've been seeing these popping around on the internet. This is a book that explains and encapsulates a lot of the information about them, as well as guiding you into how to make good use of them. So just in case you haven't seen them yet, here is like a drawing in the book of what some of them can look like. They're slowly getting codified. So I'll be curious to see if this is truly the system that gets adopted in the end, because there's variations in them. And that's a good thing at this stage, I think. It's going to help us expand on and fulfill all of the divinatory meanings we want to get out of a system with the way these have been played with. So we'll see what happens. Kind of like if you look at early tarot, I have a deck with like about 135 cards, because all the signs of the zodiac, all of the classic Greek elements, all of the virtues from Christianity and from Catholicism, really, because that's what there was at the time. It's, those have all been winnowed out, but it's a great deck to do readings with. It's just a very old historical deck. I guess I took all my rings off, took all the fidgets off. Your Highest Vibration is another one that's just come out. So this is a fascinating little book. You are dealing more with chakras when you're working with this book. Unblock your chakras, embody your highest self. That's what it says on the back. This is a really nice resource, though, because I've not read it cover to cover, but I've absolutely gone through and read sections of each chapter to kind of say, okay, we'll read the first section and the root chakras, the second section, because they're all kind of divided organized in a way to help you get the information you want to help you work on these issues and get to a better place in your own mind, your own body, your emotional state. It's a really nice reference, giving you things you can do, things to think about. So good book on that one. And then, of course, the 13 Keys to Witchcraft. This book is called A Witch Is. I have had less time to look at this one, but Rachel Henderson is fun, so I'm going to recommend it anyway, even though I haven't had a chance to dig into this one yet. I often read the ones that are going to likely be my favorites last. I admit it. And then Dorothy Morrison's got Everyday Moon Magic. Look at that cover. I think this is a fantastic book. She's a reliable author on these subjects. She really does have practical guidance if you're doing magic and you want to incorporate the moon into that process. It affects how you time things. It affects what you're able to pull in energetically from the planet, from the earth and the universe, just because of the effect the moon has on us. And it's always had a bit of an effect on us. There's no way around that. So love this book. This one is the last book in the 5-part series, Earth Magic, Air Magic, Water Magic, Fire Magic, Spirit Magic. Very excited for this one. There is also a new little book. So Llewellyn has a series they call Llewellyn's Little Book of, and this one is on pendulums. These are scattered all over the shop because they cover so many of the categories of books we sell. You'll find this one in the divination section, but you'll find them in all kinds of areas. You'll find a chakra one in the chakra section. You will find several spellcasting and other types of information you'd want as a witch, pagan, or Wiccan in that section. You will find astrology, all kinds of fun stuff. And I got 2 decks that came in. I want to make sure I show you. Light in the Darkness Oracle, timely, right? And to go with the book by Dodie Graham McKay, A Witch's Ally, I have now new release, A Witch's Ally Oracle, which she designed with some artists. It's all illustrated by Laura Tempest Zakharov, and I talked about her earlier this week, actually. Amazing artist and performer, both musician and artist. I think we still have one of her prints here in the shop from the last time she came through the Twin Cities. She stopped, she did a little concert. We had tickets for it. It was fabulous. She's just amazing. And so is Dodie McKay. I've sat next to her at an event. We've had her book. She's done autographs at our table. at this wonderful event that is now defunct here in the Twin Cities. She's a delight on every level. So I recommend her work, not just because it's well done and well written and she's got interesting topics, but because she's a fabulous human being and she's absolutely worth getting to know through her writings and through this deck. So that's some of the stuff that's come in recently. And I thought today we would talk about what happens and what the process is if you want to choose a new magical tool and you have the ability to come in and test drive them. I recommend that. I recommend actually coming in and trying the pieces on for yourself before you get them, if you can at all. Even to the point of, and I've done this when I was in a place where I needed some stuff, but it was inaccessible. I couldn't go pick something up somewhere. I ordered 3 of the thing I was looking for, and I tried each one on for size, and I returned 2. I'm even happy to pay a 10% reshelving fee for the privilege, I'll be honest, because it let me pick the best one for me. So how do you choose? Well, there's several ways. You could do this by pulse response. You could do this with muscle testing. So pulse response would involve feeling your pulse, kind of getting a feel for what normal feels like for you right now. Could be healthy, could be unhealthy, but it's what your normal is. And then making physical contact with the item and seeing if the pulse changes at all. It's kind of interesting and weird that it does, but it does. And that can tell you, ooh, that doesn't feel good. I don't think I'm going to get that one. Or, oh, actually things seem to have chilled out and it's really nice. I think I'm going to think about getting that one. Those are all valid responses. You could try muscle testing. Old-fashioned muscle testing involves sticking an arm out while somebody pushes down on it as you touch things. Like every time the arm is being pushed down, you or the person doing this work for you is touching an object. And it's amazing to me, but every once in a while, your arm will go when you didn't mean for it to. And then you pay attention. You could also go with the pendulum. And this is all for folks who are like, I don't know, I'm not sure about my gut feeling on things. This will give you a more concrete look. So I got a couple pendulums back here. So how do pendulums work? Pendulums work, really, it depends on your perspective. They're going to pick up on some subtle cues from you and change how they move as a result. Now, whether you're going to say that's energetics, whether you're going to say that's neural hormones, I don't care the metaphor you use to explain why it's happening. I'm just going to tell you it does happen. So I've got a couple here. I've got a ruby feldspar, which is definitely, if you're going to work with a ruby feldspar, ruby feldspar is about gaining enthusiasm and gathering your energy to be successful. I have another one here, different shape. This one's bloodstone. Bloodstone is more about physical things, physical health, physical issues. So which one? Let's pick a pendulum first before we get onto some other tools you might want to choose between. This is how we tell everybody at the store to test a pendulum out to see if it's the right pendulum for them. We ask them to grab the pendulum. You can put your hand underneath it if you want or not. Some people really like the idea of the circuit connecting energetically. Some people don't want that happening. They're both fine choices. But once you've established how you're going to do it, we asked you to close your eyes and think about a yes that you would love to hear, an amazingly wonderful, fabulous yes. And do that for a minute, maybe 30 seconds, and then open your eyes and see what's happening to the pendulum. Doesn't matter if it's wiggling, doesn't matter if it's clearly swinging or circling or perfectly still, because you're going to compare it to the second one you're going to do, which is you're going to set yourself up to do it again. And this time when you close your eyes, you're going to think about a no that you would hate to hear, a horrible, awful, dreadful, no good, very bad no. Then you're going to open your eyes. And this time it's definitely swinging back and forth. So now I have a yes and a no from this pendulum. You want to test it? First thing you can ask is, are you the pendulum for me? Should I be using you for this task that I'm about to do? So how are we feeling about this pendulum? Are you ready to work with me? Let's see. Let's see if you want to work with me. It looks like a pretty good yes. But we can audition the other one in exactly the same way, and you might get very different responses. And by the way, I would hold it in my dominant hand. And if you're going to put your hand under, it's the receiving hand, right? So once you've done that, you've found a way of sort of letting your body tell you what's going on, whether that's muscle testing, pulse response, pendulum work, or there's a host of other ways. I promise these are not the only three. Then you want to take a look at the tools that you want to grab, what you're looking for, what you're in the market for. So say you're looking for wands. Well, I've got a few choices here. It's not all we have, but let me show you. I've got some by a couple of, well, actually, they're all by local makers, 3 different local makers. So this is one that comes in a beautiful case. And the wand itself is right here. So if you're attracted to this one, you're like, oh, I want to check this one out. Try it on for size. Hold it. See how it feels in your hand. And don't just spend 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Just spend a few breaths, kind of looking at it, holding on to it, figuring out whether or not you really like it or not. Do you like, for example, this one's fairly symmetrical. Do you like that symmetry? Some people would really like this. They would think of it as, my energy is really going to go down the wand in the direction I point. And that can be really wonderful. Other people will look at a completely straight wand like this and go, I feel constrained. I feel there's something being demanded that I'm not comfortable with. Okay, that's all right. Maybe you go for a deliberately asymmetrical wand. This one is kind of easy to grip. You might really value that. Maybe you've got some joint issues. Maybe you've got RA, I don't know, rheumatoid arthritis if you don't know RA. And you try this one on for size. Maybe this one's perfect. Or this one. You got to stare at them. I don't know. Now you're not sure. Now is a good time to pull out that pendulum or that muscle testing and hold one and see if your subconscious or the energetics of the situation can tell you which one you might prefer more in the long run. You're now going off of some hunches that are already in your system that maybe you're just not quite hearing yet because you're attracted to both choices. Maybe you want something more simple. Maybe this is just too fancy for you and you want a very natural, sanded, polished wooden wand. Also a good choice. Maybe you've got some budgetary constraints. This is $20. The others, $150, $160. Very easy to buy a wand like this and carve it, paint it, use permanent marker on it, and make it your own. So it also depends on how much you want to be self-expression oriented with how you pick that wand. If you want all the work done for you, this is a great choice. It's gorgeous. It's effective. It's got a beautiful metal core. But this is also a wand. And it will also work, I promise. Why do these tools work? Because you put effort and energy into them, because you take the time to work with them. That's really what makes them work. They are the outward symbols of the things we're working on inside. So you've got these beautiful wands. Well, let's look at Athames as well. None of these are locally made. There are some local Athame makers, but I don't happen to have any here today. So first question is, what size are you looking for, really? This one is substantial. It makes a statement. It's very Athame forward. This also makes a statement. This statement is, perhaps, I keep myself to myself. This statement is, perhaps, I don't need to show you all my brilliance because I don't need your recognition of it. This one, on the other hand, you're saying something. You're definitely saying, hey, I'm here, I'm participating as much as I can, perhaps. Maybe you really like that you can see through a piece of it. A way of perhaps casting visions for yourself is to look through when you're meditating. Fabulous little tool that way. And perhaps you like that this is relatively plain for your basic Athame. Maybe you want something a little fancier. Maybe you like a little French twist with those fleur-de-lis that are everywhere on this guy. And you think French, But maybe you look at the fleur-de-lis and go, it's pointing in every direction. Is my energy going to go in every direction? It really depends on how it hits you. If that hits you and you don't like it, you're not going to get this. If it hits you that way and you're like, well, then I will be in a bubble of my own energy, then you're going to love it and you're going to get this one. If neither of those occur to you and you just think fleur-de-lis French, and I have French ancestry, for example, also a perfectly valid reason to get this little baby. Maybe you have Scottish heritage, in which case the fact that this has a thistle on it might be the reason you get this, regardless of the size you originally wanted. Not technically a double-edged knife. If you want it to be double-edged, you might have some work in for you. And since most athames traditionally are double-edged, you might really want it to have a double edge when you purchase it, or be prepared to create a double edge. I have worked with a non-double-edged athame. It's fine. It really depends on your attachment to the item. The thing I brought and used until I could afford to buy an athame was, believe it or not, a reed knife. And I know 2% of you are like, a reed knife, cool. A reed knife is for carving out reeds for things like saxophones and clarinets and oboes and bassoons. It has a very sharp edge on one side. The other side is about this thick so that you can hold it and put your thumb on it securely so you can carve away just what you want to carve away from that reed if you're at a level of playing those woodwinds that you want to carve your own reeds to affect how things sound. I would call that a second degree woodwind performer. And that's about as hard as I made it. It was worth getting a reed knife for a number of years. Any of these tools, though, are going to respond best by being worked with, by you developing a relationship, a psychological set of associations, so that when you pick up the tool, your mind is already going in the direction you want it to, because this is reinforcing what you're planning on doing. I should say, too, with all of these pointy things, whether they are wands or knives, most people will tell you dominant hand or right hand. It really depends on, honestly, how old the tradition is. Some older traditions, you'll still find some people saying it's got to be right hand. It doesn't matter if you're left-handed. I'm going to tell you it should be your dominant hand. It should be the hand that you're going to most use easily and capably with these guys. But yeah, you need to develop a relationship with these tools, which can be one of the reasons that you pick something relatively plain so you can carve in it, or you pick not something with a, I think, plastic handle in this case, but something with a wooden handle like the other two, specifically. Oh no, that one's plastic, not wood, sorry. Plastic as well. You might look for one with a wooden handle specifically so you can carve into the tool. Carving into these things makes them a little bit more your own. And that's one of the reasons that a lot of people will choose to put a finishing touch or two on any of their magical tools. Sometimes you buy it, it's perfect, you don't want to change a thing. But sometimes it's beautiful, it's wonderful, but adding your own personal touch just makes it that much more yours. And I'd encourage that. And that can include anything like, this is already a beautifully done, handmade local wand, right? This is fabulous. It's gorgeous. You don't necessarily want to alter the artisan's work all that much. This is the other one this particular artist did that I brought back with me, but I might opt to carve something in here, perhaps a personal symbol or a bind rune that I think is appropriate for how I'm going to use this wand. A bind rune, by the way, is overlapping different runes until you get the symbol. You're taking all the meanings of those runes and combining them into basically a solid sentence. You can carve something like that right in there, or paint it, paint a line down it, do something to make it personally yours. Nothing wrong with that. You are not breaking trust with the artisan, I promise you. But such gorgeous work. Maybe you really like the swirl. You like that spiral thing. That's all good. Go with taste. Go with how it feels in your hand. Go with how you energetically respond to the tool when you hold it, which is why I ask, oh my goodness, if you can, try them on for size. And if you do want to do something like, I'm going to order 3, try them all on for size and return 2. Just ethically, I would recommend letting that business know you're doing that and offer to pay a 10% restocking fee just for the privilege of having done it, frankly. They will feel good because they haven't wasted all their time. You will feel good because you're respecting the fact that they worked hard to get you all this stuff, and now they got to work hard to get it back into their own systems and back out for other people to choose, so that somebody who really is well suited to that tool can find it and purchase it and consecrate it and use it. Oh, did I say consecrate? Yes, consecration's a thing too. How do you consecrate a tool? It depends on your tradition again. You might bathe this in the moonlight just for a good cleanse. You might bathe it in sunlight. You might cover it in salt water. And depending on what it's made of, you might wipe it off right away because salt water is corrosive. You might charge this by putting it in your hands and sending energy to it. You might charge it with sending it through some incense smoke as a cleanse and charge. You might deliberately put it on other things that you work with that already sort of have your signature, your energetic presence in them, so that it can begin to meld and blend with those tools. So when you use them all together, they work as a set. Lots of ways of cleansing and charging your tools. And it's a very normal, natural thing. It's part of personalizing the tool to you, to let it imprint on who you are as a person, pick up on those energies, and get things sort of to work well together, to all those different tools to mesh together. So whether you are choosing with muscle testing, whether you're choosing with pulse response, whether you're choosing with a pendulum or any other method, maybe you've got a tarot deck that's a favorite of yours and you just do a 1-card pull for each of the items that you're considering, and you'd go with the one that has the best card pull, or the best, or you narrow it down to just 2 based on the cards in your 1-card pull for each tool. No matter how you do this, you get closer and closer to a tool that you will work the best with, be the most comfortable with, and honestly, it will last you potentially a lifetime once you've gone to that little bit of extra work to make sure it truly matches who you are today. Can you outgrow these tools? Yes. Can you decide you need one for relationship spells and one for protective spells, and they aren't really the same thing for you at all, so you need different tools? Yeah, that's all allowed. That's all perfectly fine. Don't ever let anybody tell you it's not. You get the tools you need for the jobs you need to do. And if you outgrow a tool, that's okay too. Check, if you go to a conference, check to see if they have a trade table. Many of these pagan, Wiccan, ceremonialist type gathers might have a space where you can bring a tool you're done with. By all means, cleanse it before you bring it. There's no reason to give anybody anything nasty. But, little salt water on it. We're all good. Leave it there and peruse to see what's there for you to pick up. And if you find something that's fabulous, grab it, cleanse it again. But I'm assuming that the person who left it there cleansed it because ethics. But cleanse it again. It's also a way of introducing yourself to the tool. And then go through your personal consecration process, whatever that is, whether that means you keep it on you for a day, whether that means you smoke it, salt wash it, send your energy into it with an athame by putting it between your hands, by surrounding it with your working objects that you already are using. All those methods work beautifully to get this charged up the way you need it to be charged up for you to do the work you value, things that help you with your life, expand your spirituality, and help you grow as a person emotionally, psychologically, financially, in terms of relation, you name it, in every way. Well, I'm out of time. So on behalf of myself and all of the staff, thank you so much. We love it when you tune in. We love all the magical things you do out in the world, especially these days. And of course, for doing the little magical things you can do here. Oh, I should say we will be open on Friday, but I am considering getting some hot cocoa mix and some to-go cups for folks to stop in if they're out on the streets on Friday and need a quick break. We might have some cocoa on offer for folks. We wouldn't be charging for it, just so you know. Not sure, but stop by, warm up if you need to, if you're out on Friday here in Minneapolis on Central Avenue, and maybe grab a hot cocoa. We might have them. In the meantime, blessed be, and we'll see you all very soon.